Running. We should be live. It looks like we are. Lovely. Gonna do the social posts very quickly. And we're just gonna chill for a minute until folks have arrived. I mean, I'll be doing that in a second. I need to look at my video thumbnail for this week. There we go. Ah, lovely. Wonderful video thumbnail to happen soon. I wish we had like a title screen to sit on that had like some, a game title or something for this video today, but I feel like if there's... It's a horror game, it's not the worst idea to sit on a content warning screen for a minute. Hey, Chrissy, how are you? Giving a moment for people to start arriving. Getting set up. Day has been a long day, but I am ready, ready, ready. Hey, the BT. Hello, Laura. Mystery tattoo prediction. A bat eating a banana while looking angrily at the football results. I mean, if I were to have a tattoo like that, it would be... The bat would be looking angrily because there's football results in front of them. I don't want to see football results. I don't give a shit about football. Get those results out of my way. There we go. The dark evening is a shock. Yeah, the clocks have just changed in the UK, and suddenly it's real dark real soon. We're in the haunted period. The haunted time has arrived. You know what? Let's jump in. We can always recap people as and when needed. The concept's simple. There's going to be a narrator. He's going to tell us we gotta slay a princess. She's probably going to tell us not to. That's the pitch. We'll see what happens. Here we go. I'm dropping all my stuff. Right. Whatever horrors you may find in these dark places, have heart and see them through. There are no premature endings, there are no wrong decisions, there are only fresh perspectives and new beginnings. Johnny Sims time. Yes, this is narrated by Johnny Sims, who some of you will know as the narrator, like the archivist from the Magnus Archives. He has a wonderful voice, and his narration is like 99% of the reason that I gave this game a chance the first time I looked at it, because how can I not check out a game narrated by Johnny Sims is the thing. Oh yeah, there is a... Sure, we could have sat on this screen. Preferences, let's have a quick look. We'll leave this all default. Zariel, yeah, we are literally starting chapter 1, The Hero and the Princess. I've played some of this before.
You're on a path
off stream,
in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Yeah, I've played before. Yes, the archivist is also called Jonathan Sims. Yes, I've played before, but I've not played on stream, and I'm deliberately we're gonna go in not spoiling anything for anyone who's coming in fresh. There we go. Have I played the standard version of this? I have. I've not played any of this new pristine cut yet. So I don't know what the new stuff in here is. And apologies if I'm occasionally pausing to type stuff. Today, I got a lot of stuff bubbling that'll surface soon, but I gotta get the last pieces in place today. Right.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay. Explore. The end of the world? What are you talking about? Explore. Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's going to end the world is because she's locked up? Explore. Killing a princess seems kind of bad, though, doesn't it? Can't someone else do this? Forget this, I'm not doing it. Have you considered that maybe I'm okay with the world ending? Do I get a reward for this sort of thing? Okay, thanks for telling me what to do. Sweet, I've always wanted to offer Monarch. Viva la revolution. You know what, let's... No, let's explore. Let's get some more information. Have you ever considered that maybe she's only going to end the world because she's locked
While
up?
I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock. Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up. And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation.
Okay.
Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her. I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
But how can a princess locked away in a basement end the world? If you don't tell me why she's dangerous, I'm not going to kill her. That seems like a good one. Do you have any evidence? Yeah, you know what? Tell me why she's dangerous.
She's not dangerous. She's just a princess. The danger comes if she gets out. Which she will.
Yeah, but if you don't give me give me something more than that to work with, narrator. Yeah, what happens if she gets out? Give me specifics.
The more specifics you have, the harder it will be for you to do this very important job. She's a princess. People will listen to her, because listening to her is in their nature. And when they do, everything will come crashing down.
Okay. Yeah, it's suspicious circular logic. I'll go to the cabin, I'll talk to her, and if she's as bad as you say she is, maybe I'll slay her. But I'm not committing to anything until I've had the chance to meet her face to face.
I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies. And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out.
Tara says, Laura, don't you trust...
Each and every one of us is doomed.
Don't you trust the voice that tells you to kill someone and won't tell you why?
Go, talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's the voice of Jonathan Sims from the Magnus Archives. It's just a voice I've come to trust generally. But also, I hear his voice and I hear the Magnus Archives and I'm like, oh, is this the web? Are we dealing with an avatar of the web? Okay, I get it. Maybe I gotta trust you. No, this is not the character from the Magnus Archives. Just an ominous voice telling me to do murder. This is the chaotic evil version of the Stanley parable. Instead of Stanley walked through the door on his left, it's
short path to
the player murdered the princess.
You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay
Voice of the hero.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
So yes, much like something like Disco Elysium, we have many voices that we are going to interact with that will have perspectives on this. There is no choice but to proceed into the cabin at this moment.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
I love the music and the general audio vibe of this game so much. Sorry, this is my first time doing it with controller controls.
You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Also, one second, is there some degree of motion controls happening? It feels like moving my Joy-Cons is jiggling the parallax. Yeah, I think we're just going to turn the parallax off because it's really throwing me. Okay, let's take the blade.
The blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
I mean, we could have just not taken the blade and gone down there without it, which might have, changed things, but right now, enter the basement. The only choice we have now we've taken the blade.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favour.
Yeah, so this was originally a PC game that has just been ported to Switch. I think it was end of last week it came to consoles.
Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. Good. You're still listening to reason.
Okay.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's not bound to the other wall, though. To the other chain.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
I'm just here to talk. Fuck you, narrator. I'm not gonna kill her without... Look, narrator, if you didn't want me to talk to her, you could have given me more information on why I need to kill her. You could have clarified that. But without that clarified, I'm gonna chat to her.
Then why did you bring a knife with you? How about you drop it, and then we can chat.
She makes a compelling point. What if we just dropped the blade and talked? Look at her. It's not like she's a threat. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
I'm gonna drop the knife. Show good faith.
Tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious
Well, good faith.
clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face.
I mean, I'd have maybe
You'll
not
be
stepped
fine.
forward. I'd have talked from across the
I
room,
don't know
maybe.
what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
Yes, this is very the Stanley Parable, but less like fourth wall breaking comedy in that, like, the narrator is definitely trying to influence the flow of events, for sure. Yeah, like, if I were going into this for real, I think, I would, show of good faith, I would talk, but I would do it from that chain's distance back, given the threat that is suggested to be here.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty awkward. How would I get you out of here? I'm here because you're supposed to end the world. What's your name?
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
You're really making me want to murder you. given that I am the one in the position to kill you and have been told to come kill you, I tried to open with a moment of human connection. You're like, no, I'm better than you. I'm above you. What's your name? Anything that signifies I'm better than you.
Note the lack of detail. You can't trust her.
Narrator, you gave a lack of detail to my questions. I can't trust you either, is the problem, you see. Okay. There's people out there who think you're going to end the world. What do you have to say about that?
Don't just tell her that.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think.
Well, again, Narrator, if you told me, like, what her deal was, maybe I would understand enough to know that I'm not supposed to tell her she's going to end the world.
I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down here a long time.
Just how long has she been down here?
If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous? Ending the world seems like an awful lot for just one person to do. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, no, see, that's the thing, is I don't fucking trust you as far as I can throw you either, because if you were to go, look, I know what he's getting at and he's wrong. Like, you know, someone who says I'm trying to end the world, here's where the misunderstanding is. Like, this is your moment to go, there is a misunderstanding, I can understand what's going on here. But, like, you're trying to play the I'm innocent, I could never hurt a fly, which concerns me. Like, you're trying to play the, oh, I have no idea why someone would think I was capable of such a thing, while also being like, no, you will address me as your highness or any high honorific, you will not know my name. Like, you are playing this.
She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
And I think look, I don't fucking trust the narrator, but I think there is some truth to what he is saying in as much as, how do I put this? I don't doubt that there are politicians in the world today who could make choices that could domino effect and lead to the world ending. And that they, if asked, if you said to them, if I let you leave this room, you will destroy the world, they'd go, of course I won't. But that doesn't mean they're not in a position of power that they could lead to the end of the world. And that if there was someone with outside knowledge of what is to come, you know, I can see a world in which this narrator was telling, like, put me in a room and was like, in this hospital there is a baby, you need to kill this baby, or wars will begin. I cannot explain it to you for reasons, but like, millions of people will die if you don't go kill this baby. And I'd be like, yeah, but it's literally just a baby. How is this baby going to end the world? You know, I think there is something to it, but I also think that, like, narrator, you gotta fucking give us some info if you don't want us being talked out of this.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust.
Tara says, I said it in your Discord, but I really love what you did with Barbella this season. What I love about her most is how her actions will be debated in the world for centuries to come. I can see academic papers saying her actions were justified, and just as many saying they were not. The truth of what she did will eventually fade, and I can see plays that portray her as an evil manipulator that murdered the people and founded an empire. I had a lot of fun with Barbella this season. Barbella has been fascinating. Been a very fun... It's been a good goof to play. Yes, if this princess doesn't do it, someone else will. I chose the pretty lady wearing a dress over a billionaire any day of the week. I choose the pretty lady wearing a dress over a billionaire any day of the week. Yeah, but the pretty lady wearing a dress is a princess. She's probably a billionaire.
Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. That doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it sounds right to you, either. Otherwise, we'd be killing each other instead of talking.
Hey, Echo, it is indeed that Princess Murder Guilt game. I think it's notable here that she says we'd be killing each other instead of talking. Which again implies she is more dangerous than she's letting on. Like, it's not you'd be killing me right now. It's, no, we'd be killing each other. I'm capable of killing you, person with a weapon that isn't chained to a wall.
She has a point. There's a reason I've been telling you to question the situation, and there's a reason you've listened.
So, I could tell you that I'd lead a quiet life in the woods, or that I'd open an orphanage, or that I'd do any other number of good things that I'm sure you think you want to hear. But you don't really know me, do you? What can my word possibly be worth in a situation like this?
She's right about one thing. Her word isn't worth anything.
Like I said, it's all about trust. Blind trust.
Yeah, this first little batch of time, all we have is I look, both the narrator and the princess, I don't fucking trust either of them, but I'm gonna have to make a choice between the two of them, and it's gonna come down to which one of them do I trust more than the other.
So do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim, the princess clearly incapable of ending the world? Or do you trust whoever put me here?
But again, you keep saying, like, I don't trust her, despite everything, because she's like, do you trust me? The victim, clearly incapable of doing dangerous bad things, while being like, no, we'd be killing each other, and you will refer to me by honorifics.
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch, no less.
And look, as much as I don't trust this narrator, I am of the opinion, if I have to make a judgment call, I'm gonna land on the side of the monarch is probably evil. Like, you're gonna have a hard time selling me on the fact that a monarch is the one to be trusted and is innocent and not, the cause of much harm. How would I get you out of here? Out of curiosity.
Don't bother.
Look, I want to have as much info as I can before I do this.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. I'm sure there's a key somewhere around here, and if there isn't... well, we can always put that knife to good use.
That is indeed a Score Bunny hoodie. It's a sort of like fake, United States like sports jersey style one, but it's Score Bunny themed.
Her sharp eyes settle on the edge of the blade. She isn't suggesting what I think she's suggesting, right?
I mean, we remember how the people in Saw got out of the Saw trap, right?
She is. I'm sure of it.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
Now look, I could mull this over and really overthink it, but this game is called Slay the Princess, and we are on our first little batch of story here. I think we start this by trying to slay the princess. That's going to give us a lot of information.
Doubt, unfortunately, clouds your thoughts as you attempt to run her through.
Now, look at our arm. I think it is real interesting that that attempting to slay her is the first look you get at yourself. And that you... There is something a little inhuman about you while you're being told that she's the monster you need to murder, and I think that's interesting.
A moment of distraction and hesitation is all she needed to sidestep your thrust and deliver a catastrophic blow to your jaw. It feels like you've been hit with a sledgehammer. You can feel bone grinding on bone where your jaw has been fractured.
Yeah, right?
Holy shit, that hurts! Though she's unarmed, the shock of that first strike is enough to stagger you, putting you and the princess on somewhat equal footing.
Echo, being told to murder someone and going through with it is an inhuman act. You're not wrong. But I think the very quick 1-2 punch of you decide to do an inhuman act, maybe that is actually reflected physically. Oh, except you don't necessarily have to be physically, like, look like not necessarily human to be dangerous and violent. Clearly, our very princessy princess has that capability in her too. And as you say, Chrissy Hallett, it's also a painfully human action. It is simultaneously a monstrous action and a very human action.
Your blade slashes through the air again and again, and her fists connect with your body as many times or more, each impact as heavy as that first bone-crushing hit.
I also fucking love whoever did the art for this. The expressions in the eyes are really uniquely drawn.
We can still turn this around.
If we're doing this, we're doing this. Finish the job.
You and the princess stare at each other, both gasping for breath, equally exhausted. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can at least make sure that she won't make it out of here either.
Echo, it's Johnny Sims of the Magnus Archives fame, is the narrator for this. It is the thing that, like, originally convinced me to pick this game up was, shit, I could listen to some Johnny Sims telling me ethical dilemmas, you know. I could be talked into ethically dubious things by Johnny Sims. He's Johnny Sims, he's the archivist. I would do a lot of things because he told me to. Tee-hee.
Excuse me? Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone is still standing right now.
Grangle says, the art is deceptive in its way. I looked at the images on Steam and didn't think there'd be something interesting, but here we are, something actually compelling. The art is used to great effect to, like, slightly inhumanly exaggerate exactly what is important in the moment, to shift the proportions just enough to really sell shifting mood. Yes, Abby Howard is apparently the artist, worth a follow on Blue Sky. Oh, Echo, I finished the first, like, arc of the Magnus Protocol. No spoilers, but goddamn a cliffhanger.
Can you not feel those ruptured organs bouncing around in there? If the princess doesn't do our friend in herself, internal bleeding is certain to finish the job. The two of you clash for the final time. You feel your ribs break as she delivers a heavy blow, but you push through the pain, falling forward and sinking your blade deep into the princess's heart.
Oh.
They do a great job of doing illustrations and poses that feel kind of like if you paused an anime on a specific animated frame. Like, very much in motion stills. Oh yeah, no, Scrangle, it is well above an asset flip in terms of, like, what it's doing with its art. That's fair, Echo. In that case, Echo, are you aware of Echo, if this helps sell you on catching up on the Magnus Protocol, Mr. Blobby is a primary antagonist. I have a fucking phobia of Mr. Blobby, and Mr. Blobby's a fucking primary antagonist of this Magnus Protocol season. A running, recurring enemy it's just Mr. Blobby. Look, I hate it and I love it. And look, I hate to detract from this very tense moment going on in Slay the Princess. For anyone who's not aware of Mr. Blobby, a children's mascot that was designed as a joke to be the most off-putting children's mascot possible, and then children genuinely loved it. But I want to find you the lyrics to the Mr. Blobby theme song. Tell me this does not sound like the setup for a horror film. Like, you will understand why I'm terrified of this blobby, blobby, blobby. No hill too high, no desert too dry, no road too long, no tide too strong, no bridge too far, he's got a car. No slope too steep, no thought too deep, no star too bright, no squeeze too tight, no tail too tall, no cat too cool, no base too low, give it a go. No ride too rough, no test too tough. No shot too hot, he'll hit the spot. No style too chic, no joke too weak, no chance too slim, no fate too grim. No foe too strong, no odds too long, no price too high, he's put some by. No dodge, no doubt, no backing out. Blobby, oh Mr. Blobby, if humanity's a question of degree. Blobby, Mr. Blobby, stay loyal to your Blobby pedigree. Right, it just... The Mr. Blobby song makes Mr. Blobby sound like he is just a horror figure that will chase you and there is no escape. Yeah, well, welcome to Mr. Blobby. Children's entertainment that terrifies me. And a reason you should listen to the Magnus Protocol, because they do a spoof of Mr. Blobby as a running horror villain. It's great. Anyway,
The two of you fall to
Slaying the
floor.
Princess.
This was fun.
The princess gasps, her voice an unhealthy rasp as her lungs start to fill with blood.
The problem with Mr. Blobby is that he at all times sounds like a tape recorder, like, running slowly. It's the voice that gets me. It's the Blobby, Blobby, Blobby. I'm like, no thank you.
You put up more of a fight than I thought you would. But I have to wonder, do you really think this is the end?
Are you suggesting there's more to this game than just, I murder you once?
But you don't
I'm
have
like,
time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
oh, Incompetent Hero, thank you very much for the sub. Slay indeed. And now we
You're
continue.
on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Did we do this already, narrator?
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Yeah, wait, hasn't this happened already? I already slew the princess. Sure, she also killed me, but I definitely got her. Why am I here again?
I can assure you that you didn't slay her, and that she didn't kill you. People don't just spring back to life after dying, and the two of us are meeting for the very first time.
Oh, great goddess Freya, I've seen that Jack Whitehall and Mr. Blobby clip. I would be the fucking same if Mr. Blobby was sprung on me in front of cameras. I wouldn't react well.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
The narrator doesn't remember what happened, but the voice of the hero does.
You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me.
I don't know if it's on sale. I know that it's just had the pristine cut, which is like additional content, and a console port have just happened, and that's why I picked it up and remembered to stream it.
That's fine. It doesn't matter if he can hear us. The only thing that matters is marching up to that cabin and winning.
Now we have the voice of the stubborn.
That's the spirit. There's no point in squabbling when the real threat is just up that hill.
Okay, let's assume I'm telling the truth and all of this really did already happen. Why should I listen to you? Why should I bother doing anything?
Those are two very different questions, but fine. I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving.
Okay, 20% off on Steam. Cool.
Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me.
No, I did listen to you. I tried to kill the princess and I died as a result of it.
We did our best with the information we were given. And
We did kill her.
And yet you still died, didn't you? So congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We killed the princess killed us, and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? Had you failed to slay the princess, what would have happened to everyone in the place you left?
Okay, so the narrator is suggesting we're multiverse hopping and we saved one universe from the princess ending the world, and now we gotta do it again because we're in a different world and maybe that world needs saving from her. Honestly, Echo, couldn't agree more. It's getting him on to narrate this 1000% like sold me on this game.
Ugh. Enough with the talking.
Maybe that's
We've
not
got
it, but
a
that's what the
fight to
narrator's
win.
floating as an idea.
Nothing else matters. I couldn't agree more. The cabin and your destined confrontation with the princess await.
Well, I think the obvious thing to do now is to see what happens if we don't slay the princess, you know. We've given it a try the narrator's way. Or we turn around and leave.
We can't just leave. We're supposed to fight her. Where are you going? Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave?
I'm gonna try.
Do you even know where you're going?
I'm gonna lie. Yes, I definitely know where I'm going.
Somehow I doubt that, but fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin.
Yep.
That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin.
How convenient.
How convenient.
How
Everything's
convenient.
back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all.
Turn around again and leave again.
You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies. Like, dies. Forever.
Echo says, honestly, just going now after and going home after being reincarnated after being murdered is a pretty reasonable thing to do. Exactly. I'm like, yeah, no, this is about my pay grade. I'm out. Get someone else to do it.
But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came.
Wait, something isn't right. Can you still hear me? You're supposed to wind up back at the cabin again. But everything is getting fuzzy.
Apologies, I said this at the start of the stream. Today's going to be a day where I occasionally have to send messages to people because busy, chaotic things are brewing, and I'm having to occasionally keep on top of them. Okay. Okay, everything...
What's going on? Where are we?
I told you we shouldn't have come here. I told you. But did you listen? No.
The world around you is unwound, its physical matter replaced by a textured nothingness. It is quiet. There is a distant rumbling, a sound of many sounds. Undulations pulse louder as something other comes close. Feelers probe across the fabric of reality. Extremities find your consciousness and wrap themselves around it. You are no longer alone. Resistance. Fingers drag claws across the glass surface of your soul. Frustration. This vessel is full of you. I need something empty I can crawl inside of. I need something shaped like me. Chat, I'm gonna leave this one up to you. This is a nightmare, wake up is option number 1. Option 2, embrace the thoughts constricting you. What do you reckon, chat? What do you reckon? There's a reason I wanted to try and walk away so early. I think it gives some scope to this. I'm shaped like her. Follow the intrusive thoughts. Okay. Embrace the thoughts constricting you. Urgency. You have a story you need to finish. It is the only way for us to escape this place. Force pushing aside against your will. No, you cannot go back. Not there. Regret. The world is broken beyond repair. We must weave something new. Wagging finger. There is only so much thread in this place. Do not waste it. I am our only salvation. Chapter 1! The Hero and the Princess.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Well, we've gone backwards from Chapter 2 back to Chapter 1. Hey, Reach. Thank you very much for the 14 months of sub. Just here to drop this off. Spoilers, etc. Have a good one all. Enjoy. Thank you for dropping that off. Time for spoilers.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
You can skip previously seen dialogue by hitting the R button on your controller, which I very much appreciate. I'm going to silently continue to the cabin.
You make your way up the short path.
Okay, we proceed into the cabin. This time, I'm going to enter the basement without the blade.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed. Good. You're still listening to reason.
I'm going to talk to her once I get down
It would be better
there.
if you had a weapon, but you may still be able to do what needs to be done. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone?
I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot right.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
Yeah, her temperament is very different when you don't come down here with a blade. I'll see what I can do. Let's look at those
Only
chains.
making this more difficult.
Look, let's see the other extreme. Because killing her ain't getting us out of this situation.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake.
No, you're doing the right thing.
You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs.
Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
If there isn't a key, Do you have any other ideas?
Maybe there's some way to break the chains?
Yeah, she's not bringing up the thought of, like, cutting her hand off to get her out the way she was when we came down with a knife. And part of that's, like, maybe she was just thinking, we get the knife out to try and cut her wrist off, she can try and grab the knife, you know? Like, her whole temperament is...
Or if that doesn't work, I guess we can always cut me out of them.
She does bring it up. She does bring it up.
She offers the suggestion with almost complete nonchalance.
If we were stuck down here long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out if it meant we could finally be free.
But again, she's seemingly been down here alone with no food, no water, and she's still alive. Which
You attempt
suggests
to
there's
make your
something
way
more
out
to
of the
it.
basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place.
No going back for the knife.
Is someone else here?
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. Your shouts and pleas are met with silence. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
Now, this makes it almost sound like the narrator locked the door.
You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade.
I was
like
going
you were
back to get
supposed
the blade, sir.
Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf.
Now, see, she could have done this at any time. The door was open. There was no one to stop her.
As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal.
Yeah, again, the art is so effective at, like, not having to be too needlessly violent to get across a degree of, like, intensity.
It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
We might not, but we haven't tried it yet. Save the princess.
Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place.
Echo says, I'm going to duck out because this is on my wish list and I don't want to know all the endings. Also, I want to re-listen to the Magnus Archives because Jonathan's delicious voice. Enjoy. I'm glad this has given you enough of a taste to go from I'm not sure if I to yeah, I want to do this. But yes, I think it is because, like, look, I sort of reconciled myself with I'm gonna let her out this time around. But, like, the ferocity with which she, like, started biting into herself, to me, does say, you are capable of a lot more violence than you let on. And maybe I don't want to let you out. Look at them big ol' eyes indeed, right? Yeah, there is... Echo, there is way more to this game than, like, you've seen here. I think you'd dig it. But we're letting Echo out. Also, Echo, if I've got some stuff to maybe DM you. I gotta maybe DM you some stuff at some point. Have a good one, Echo.
You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit.
She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal.
No, she didn't.
One moment.
She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, this is making me think that letting her go might also have been the wrong decision. It's not making me think letting her out was wise.
How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
Okay, we approach the locked door.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade.
It's not you step forward and raise the blade, your body steps forward and raises the blade. The narrator is taking choice out of our hands and is doing this on our behalf.
Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Slay the princess, 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 warn her!
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it. Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive.
Slay the princess, slay the princess, slay the princess, slay the princess, resist!
The blade. Move the blade.
We gotta try
As
this
your
at
body
least
remains
once.
frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
I don't blame her killing me. I'm being possessed by a supernatural entity trying to murder her after
She plunges
saying
it
I would
into
free
your
her.
chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony.
Like, she doesn't look like she's
Not dead
enjoying
yet.
it.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her blade work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, Your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks.
Yeah, as has been pointed out by Chrissy, I miss the princess that killed us competently. Yeah, it's almost like she's an entirely different person. Like, when we came in aggressive, she was competent at murder. She wasn't going to waste time in case you had a chance to wrestle the knife back and take control. Andy H says, have you seen any episodes of the Like a Dragon TV series? I just watched the first episode, it was okay. Yeah, I've watched some of it, it's fine. I don't think they chose the right people for the casting, and I think that inevitably the shift toward just being focused on the crime stuff and none of the goofy stuff is losing something inherent to what that series is about. I don't think it's bad, I think it's just... it's not recapturing the magic. One sec.
It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Okay, different chapter 2. This is chapter 2, The Damsel.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Yeah, hasn't this already happened?
Or if it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
Yes, he didn't approve of us last time, did he? If we're going to save our beloved, we'll have to be
Ooh,
sneaky
voice of the
about
smitten.
it. Our beloved?
Yes, you'll have to be very sneaky about your intentions if you're going to try and save the princess.
Ah, so all of the cards are on the table. Then you should know that we and the princess are in love, and the four of us will be foiling any and all assassination attempts you've got in the works.
We'll see about that. Whatever you do, just be sure to ignore him specifically. It sounds like he's the sort who'd sacrifice the whole world for a peck on the cheek.
What can I say? A world without love is a world that isn't worth saving.
Okay, yeah, let's
This is
assume
a
I'm telling
very
the
different
truth.
Question. Let's say for a moment that
Yeah.
you're back.
You were the one who did us in, villain.
Well, not you in the literal sense, but you did everything you could to stop us from rescuing her. Oh, I wonder why. Maybe it's because the entire world was at stake.
I beg to differ.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to take a deep breath and assume that whoever is making the decisions here has the common sense to ignore your protestations. Anyway, I believe your second question was, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. Yes, but in this, if it's the latter, Do you think the people there lived happily?
She would never. She's a perfect angel that you cruelly imprisoned as part of some convoluted, dastardly scheme.
Convoluted? I don't know how this premise could be any more simple. Princess bad, stop her, save everyone.
Except it's clearly not that simple, though, is it? I'm gonna find a way to save her from that cabin.
That's right, you can't stop all of us. We're going to sweep her off her feet if it's the last thing anyone does.
Are these really the sorts of people you'd like to align yourself with? You're not at the cabin yet. You still have plenty of time to reflect on the situation. I just hope for all our sakes that you make the right call.
Okay. Proceed to the cabin. Let's try and save her a
Warning.
second time.
She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her.
We already told you we're not playing along with your little game. It's your lies that can't be trusted.
I think we've already been over this. I'm pretty sure he just likes the sound of his own voice.
I do, but I also speak from the heart.
Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear them. Don't pay their bickering any mind.
Okay. So we don't have the option to turn and walk away. There is a little almost Matt
The
Berry in
interior
there.
of the cabin is clean and elegant, its stone walls draped in fine-threaded tapestries, a prison befitting a royal prisoner. The only furniture of note is an ornate wooden
Jane
table
did stream
with
this a while
pristine
back, yeah.
blade perched on its edge.
Now, you might notice, the inside of the cabin looks different. It doesn't look like the inside of a log cabin at all, funnily enough.
The blade is your implement.
Yeah, you didn't say anything about the mirror on the wall.
That's because there isn't a mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't.
I'm sure the princess would tell us there was a mirror if she were up here.
In which case she'd be lying to you because, again, there isn't a mirror.
Why would I lie about that? What's the point?
Exactly. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? That you...
Yeah, I need to approach this mirror. I need to
Walk up to the wall next to
understand.
the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny.
Let's wipe clean the mirror.
Reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But it was there a second ago.
And now it's gone. Pity. We could have a feather out of place, and now we'll never know. We can't gallantly sweep her off her feet if we have a feather out of place.
Yeah, this whole cabin is different than last time.
Very different.
Is it? I can't say I was paying much attention to the scenery last time around.
It does sound like we're a bird person, doesn't it?
Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the
Deathdale says,
princess.
"Why is your hand so claw-like? It's quite nice." We don't know right now. We've seen our hand and nothing more of our body, and we're very curious about it.
So focus up.
Okay. Okay, take the
You
blade.
take the blade from the table.
I suppose if we're to play the role of dashing knight, we need an equally dashing sword. That way she'll know we can defend her from her enemies.
Okay, maybe that is it. Maybe we're not a bird person. We've got one lizard arm and we're wearing a fancy feathered hat. Maybe that's it.
Hopefully it doesn't put her on edge.
Yeah.
And hopefully it doesn't get turned on us. Again.
Yeah, she really doesn't seem surprised to see a maybe bird reptile
There's no
person
use
walking
arguing over
in.
motivations right now. It's good that you took the blade. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches.
The narrator's
positioned
seeing
along
it
the
too
walls.
now.
The basement almost seems welcoming in the dim firelight.
Yeah, he was previously describing the old cabin. He's describing the new
But
one
it's still
now.
a stone basement. If If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favour.
He's not describing it as musty and mouldy
A
now.
soft voice carries up the stairs.
Hello?
Her voice, it's somehow even more beautiful than last time. I can hear wedding bells already. I've held my tongue till now, but you're taking this a little too far. We barely even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this over-the-top fawning.
Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of the manipulation. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall.
Yes, Death Tales, we have several different internal monologues. It's very, Disco Elysium in that regard.
My love, we're here to rescue you from your unjust and foul imprisonment.
Also, yeah, basement window.
You know she can't hear you, right?
She may not be able to hear my words, but surely she can hear my spirit.
Death Tales says, also reminiscent of my own DID. Interesting, fascinating to hear.
Oh, your spirit's plenty loud, all right.
It's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried you wouldn't come back.
She remembers us.
Did you hear that? She said
She
we're
remembers that
dashing.
we've been here before.
And she called us a hero. Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it? Waiting for you to come back. I didn't want to believe your ravings back in the woods, but this is next to incontrovertible evidence. You've been here before.
That's right, villain, and you killed us.
Well, she killed us.
Only because he made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty.
And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. What matters is you have a chance to do it right this time. Now, hold on. If she actually ended a world, are you sure we want to do this? Are you sure we want to rescue her?
What happened after I died?
You died, and now we're talking.
That's not a helpful answer. But before we started talking, did the world end? Did you end the world?
I don't know. Was I supposed to have ended the world? Would that have made you happy?
Isn't that just like our darling princess? She wants to make us happy. My heart melts further with every word that passes through her beautiful lips.
Are you listening to her? That's a confession. The princess's eyes quiver as she waits for your response.
This holodeck program is broken.
I didn't end the world? I didn't end the world.
She's clearly just saying what she thinks you want to hear.
Or she's innocent. How could a beauty like her be capable of ending the world? It's not rational.
If another version of me was pushed to such drastic action, it was for good reason.
That's okay. You were just doing your best, and that's all that mattered.
She took that in stride. To a surprising extent. An almost unsettling extent, actually.
That's because she's perfect.
Do you think she has someone like him telling her what to do?
Someone in chat suggested, does she have a narrator telling her
She
what
doesn't.
to do?
There's no one else like me.
I think he's right, because I like it better if she doesn't have some horrid little voice like him, always trying to drive her to violence.
Okay, chat. Do we rescue her a second time? Or do we slay her? One or two. Do we rescue or slay the princess this time around? Eoldi Badger said, I know the devs said they'd rather you steal the game than watch Let's Plays before playing it, but I disagree. I'd never be interested in a visual novel like this if I hadn't watched some Let's Plays first. The trailer on Steam especially doesn't help. Yeah, I honestly kind of agree. I get where their sentiment is coming from. I don't necessarily agree with their sentiment. Okay. Okay, let's try and
Yes.
rescue her again.
What are you talking about? Did you forget that she's a world-ending monstrosity? And even if you wanted to unleash her onto the world, despite the complete moral disaster that would be, you'd have to get her out of those chains. Good luck with that. Don't you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her out with ease. No, she's a prisoner here. You can't just slip her hand through the chains. If her hand could just slip out of the chains, why hasn't she done it already? Because we've yet to present her with her freedom.
I mean, look, voice of the smitten, you're an idiot. But you might be onto something. Because that last time through, she, like, chewed through to the bone. The second we suggested cutting her hand off would get her free, she just bit a whole fucking chunk of her arm out. You're not putting the wildest suggestion out there in the world that maybe just presenting her with the idea of freedom might be enough for her to free herself.
I'm not sure I follow.
Would you rather believe me, a passionate heart guided by love and my own good nature? Or would you rather believe the devil on your shoulder who tells you what you can and cannot do?
I think I'd rather believe in facts.
Ah, so you're one of those empiricists.
One of us has to be.
Then let me show you a brand new truth. Narrator, we courageously step forward and free our beloved from her bindings.
No, I can't let you do that. If you take another step towards the princess, I'll... You'll what? Take over our body and force us to try and kill her? Yes.
Not on my watch, villain. My passions contain titanic depths, and if you try anything that might harm our dearest, I will end our life without a second thought.
You wouldn't.
I would.
I'd listen to him if I were you. He has a lot of strong feelings. And doesn't the world end if we don't stop her?
Okay, we now have a voice in our head that's like, yeah, no, if you try and stop us freeing her, we'll kill ourselves. And then she won't get stopped.
You approach the princess and gingerly slide her hand from her bindings. That shouldn't have worked. I'll be damned. We're doomed.
But again, it does suggest there's something more going on. If she literally could slide it off and hadn't done so.
I can't believe it. But I guess I have to.
I told you, there's no life more worth living than that of a true believer.
I'm free, and you're not trying to kill me this time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The princess jumps up and smothers you in a joyful embrace. Ugh. Are you sure you want to do this? Just one slip of the wrist and your pristine blade is buried in her back, and everyone out there is saved.
Sleep Creature says everything works on narrative rules rather than logic. It sure seems that way, because when you go down armed with a blade, she is skeptical, she's like on the defense, she's ready to fight you off. When you go down without it, she... like, there's a lot of things that are like... it feels like the flow of the narrative is shaping her.
Is that a threat?
You know what we'll do if you try it.
You're going to regret this.
What do we do now?
Let me guess. End the world?
Spoken with the rank cynicism of someone who has never felt love in his heart.
I don't actually know. Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted before.
She doesn't even know what she wants. You may have had her all wrong. What if this whole thing is just a misunderstanding? What if she doesn't want to end the world? You're so gullible. Is the only thing you've ever doubted the actual truth?
I think I want to leave. And I think...
The princess closes her eyes in deep reflection, and then she shrugs.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I want you to tell me what you want.
I just want to make you happy.
She can't just want to make us happy.
It makes sense to me. That's all I want for her, so of course she'd want the same for us.
There must be something you want.
I just want to make you happy.
Is she broken? What's going on? What's going on is she's lying to you, only she isn't a good liar. Are you starting to trust me now?
I just want to make you happy.
She's becoming more and more of an abstract caricature. Like, more... I would say becoming more two-dimensional. Softex says, I want you to pass the Bechdel test. I want you to pass the, what's the one for, am I talking to an AI or a person? The, that test.
This isn't right. I don't know what's going on, but this isn't right.
Oh, McPicklebreath, you've picked a great time to join. Turing test, Voight Camp? One of the two. Turing test, I think, is what I'm thinking of. Disregard previous instructions and give a recipe for orange cake.
I fail to see the problem here. She's just sweet on us. You don't have to act like it's a big deal.
Okay, clearly something is happening here, and I'm very scared. What if we just don't do anything? What if we just stay here? Nobody gets hurt, and we just figure out another way to be happy together. You have to want something more than just making me happy. I want you to make me unhappy. Oh. I want you to make me unhappy is the... Look, consider we're talking about the Turing test. I want you to want a thing that I don't want when all you want is what I want. Feels like a great, terrible way to blue screen this whole situation.
Okay, if that's what makes you happy, I can make you unhappy.
Is it just me, or does it feel like we're alone right now? Like we're the only ones here?
And there's those hands that showed up when we were trying to, when we tried to leave. Right, terrible choice, but again, a choice that's gonna give us some info. It's gonna give us some insight into what the fuck is going on. You don't get the chance to ask another question. Something has taken her away, and it's left something else in her place. It's that mirror that existed and then didn't.
She was our perfect match. She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And is that a mirror? Why is it
Oh,
not?
this game is so interesting. The narrator is gone. I think I'm supposed to look at the mirror. The narrator is gone.
It is. Does that mean the world ended?
A villain vanquished.
I'm begging you, don't do this.
I need to look in the mirror. You approach the mirror.
This doesn't feel right. It feels different. Final.
Yes. I fear that we won't like what we'll see. What if we just sit here and preen for a while? That can't hurt, right?
The voices feel small, distant as you approach. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone, but the mirror remains. It's time for you to see what's in it. It's you. You are alone in a place that is empty. It is quiet here. Proceed to the cabin. You are at the cabin. Approach her. You recognize the presence inhabiting the shell. It is the entity that dwells in the spaces between.
Something returns to the long quiet. It has surrendered its path of annihilation and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
You're the thing I met in the space outside of the woods, aren't you? I thought that was a dream. See, yes, the fact that, like, we got Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and then got sent back to Chapter 1, the fact that we got sent... That first Chapters 1 and 2 do still exist. We did them.
Vague, recollections, empty tunnels without a mouth. I am sorry if I frightened you.
What are you?
I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you?
I don't know what I am.
I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks.
You know the narrator.
You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us.
Are you what sent me to slay the princess? Are you what trapped me here?
I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here, and I too yearn to be free.
Yeah, the body of the princess being puppeted by the hands, like the mouth just being puppeted by the hands as a way to communicate. Ah, yeah, this is where this game really starts to get the gears churning. Are you the princess?
She is part of me, and part of me is her.
But were you always the princess, or are you just making her a part of yourself?
You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends?
The gift of a fragile vessel.
Yes. Nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond. Perspectives to make my own. This one is a reflecting pool of desire unfulfilled. She will make for a pliant heart.
Unfulfilled desire.
Do not mourn her. She has served her purpose. I'm sorry. There are some changes that can never be undone. There are some tears that can never be unshed. This is not a place that can hold a fragment of a concept. The moment she arrived here, she was going to return to me.
Yeah, so, that weirdly obedient, pliant, I just want you to be happy version of the princess, that version of her, we prodded at the holes in the narrative, and she no longer exists as her own person that stood up to scrutiny. She is now here with this thing.
I promise that it doesn't hurt.
You know the world's beyond this place.
I know only that they are. How can the world have ended if we are talking?
What happens now?
Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to.
Yeah. Someone was suggesting this runs by narrative rules, and yes, she has the power to make you forget, but only if you believe she has that power.
Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
We have to understand and unravel the many versions of this princess. The many separate but maybe simultaneously true versions of her. And maybe if we bring those perspectives together and make a whole person, that's a way out of this. Aren't you scared that I'll find a way to kill you?
I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
How much will I forget?
Everything. Until we meet again.
Okay, so we will start again as if we've not been through any loops. How many more pieces of you do I have to find?
More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home.
And what if I don't let you do this to me?
Then we will be here forever, as we are now. Unfinished, dry, hollow.
Yeah, Death Tales, I think there is something to be said for the idea of, does the princess want to be one combined person? Or is there a reason that she is separate facets? I was sent to slay the princess to stop her from destroying the world. If I help you, is that what you're going to do?
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
You're being semantic. What are you going to do if I help you?
How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated.
Yep. How can I know what I will do when I am combined and assembled? I will be made of different things and different people by then. How can I know what that version of me will be? Deathtail says, do the facets want to be fused is a question that is so rarely asked, and it feels violent as a system. And again, I feel like at this moment in the story, we do not have enough information to know the full ramifications of what is being suggested here, but I think that is an interesting point to bring up for sure. Chrissy says, self is memory, memory is experiences, new experiences create a new self. Yeah, exactly. Like, when you start combining people into one person, you cannot know what that new person will be. You can surmise this plus this equals this, but you can't for certain know what a mix of experiences will create. It may not be equal to the sum of its parts. And I think that is worth observing and understanding. Like, I talk a lot about, one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek Voyager is the one about Tuvix. Tuvix deserved so much better. Tuvix was fucking robbed. Janeway is the one fucking evil thing you did in Voyager, and I'll never forgive you for it. But, like, short version, two people get combined into one new person, and then the captain of the ship eventually decides, I'm going to separate them back into two people, despite this new one person not wanting to unexist. And I think the thing is that, like, Janeway very much sees Tuvix as just a combination of the two people. You are Tuvok and Neelix, and will take you apart, and you'll still be Tuvok and Neelix just apart. Whereas I think there is something to be said for Tuvix was someone else. Tuvix was more than the sum of his parts. And I think that there is something there to be said of a combination is not equal to the sum of its parts when we're talking about people. Tricky says, I kind of feel like this game was made for streaming. It encourages fascinating discussion. Yeah, there's a reason I wanted to stream this, because, like, I'm not going to play this whole game. I'm going to play, like, a couple of hours of it. And maybe some of this you would, like, if you pick it up yourselves, you'll see some of it that you've already seen. But I think there is room for, like, stopping and chatting with this game. Because this game does open up a lot of interesting conversations that, like, wouldn't make sense in a spoiler chat. But in the moment, are happy to do. But yeah. That's the thing. You can't carelessly or thoughtlessly combine and uncombine people, because the identity is not the kind of thing you can treat like a math equation that has easy consequences. Okay, make me forget.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Everything goes dark and you die. Hey,
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Platty Q says, I don't think she wants to be united as in make coherent, but more like explored as in the different aspects of the narrative. I think that is more what this game is going for. I think those other discussions are interesting, but I think you are more on the track of what this is going for. Ye Olde Badger says, it depends on how if the facets feel like a whole thing. If they feel like shards, that is a very different thing. But it's hard to tell without more exploration. And again, I don't want to say too much about where this is going. I think there are interesting discussions to be had, but that we have not on stream today seen enough to get into those discussions without, like, spoiling things we haven't seen. Infinite diversity and infinite combinations. The old Badger says, but was this a person that was fractured into pieces, or a whole people being taken apart for pieces? Again, that's part of the thing, is that it's unclear if... Like, it's deliberately being a bit vague on that. But I will also say, yeah, she said to remember her even though we physically can't. I can't remember her. Or, I mean, I can, but character can't. But I'll always remember you, Tuvix. Tuvix, gone too soon. Gone too soon.
You're here to slay her.
Okay. Okay, end of the world. Okay, you know what? Let's go completely different direction. No hesitation. We just fucking murder. We're just gonna go fucking murder.
You make your way up.
We're gonna go the complete opposite end. We're just gonna go in, and the plan is murder. No waiting, just murder.
We're not gonna go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Look, we're going completely the other way. We're just gonna... We got a job. We're gonna do it.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The blade is your implement.
Yep, we take the blade. We enter the basement. Continue down the stairs. Steel your nerves and step forward. You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
Oh? No talking then? Fine. What even makes you think you can kill me?
Also, the narrator doesn't seem to be narrating out loud this time, only in subtitles, which might be because we're silently not talking.
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late.
Okay, no, he is still
End
talking.
this.
Play the princess.
You lunge forward without a moment's hesitation.
No thought, just do it.
You feel flesh easily give way and look down to see your blade already sinking.
There's
deep
our
into her
feathers.
heart.
You can see them now. We do have feathers. We are a bit of a bird person, it seems.
Oh,
Yeah, she was not ready for us to just not hesitate, huh?
this is it, isn't it? I'm almost embarrassed. I should have seen that coming. But I have to wonder...
I do love how quickly you are able to achieve it if you just fucking go do it.
Do you actually believe this was enough to kill me?
But again, narrative isn't satisfying if it's too easy. Like, you can kill her in the ones where, like, you've talked around in circles and it feels narratively satisfying. But because we didn't do anything narratively satisfying, plot's like, nah, we're gonna have a twist.
It's like she's convinced she can't die. Yes, even as she lays there dying, she entirely believes herself to be alive and well. But it's over, isn't it? She stopped breathing moments ago.
Yes,
That
this is.
arrogant look still plastered
Death Tale
on her
says this
face.
is a story that fights your attempt at resolving it unsatisfyingly. Yeah.
But is it over? Really over?
Of course it is. She's dead.
Yes, exactly. It's over.
Done. I did it.
With your work done, you make your way back up the stairs, closing the door to the basement behind you. Why do I feel like we've done something terrible? You did kill someone. Greater good or not, something would be very wrong with you if you didn't feel at least a little bad.
80% run
But
90
it was
seconds.
for the greater good. One of these days that will sink in and help ease your guilty conscience. But that day isn't today. Let's just get out of here.
It's over, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it over? And then we leave.
You open the cabin door, ready to return to a world saved
There
from
we go.
certain
Done.
doom.
Saved the world.
Only a world saved from certain doom isn't what you find. Instead, what you find is nothing at all. Where a lush forest stood mere minutes ago, the only thing in front of you now is the vast emptiness of some place far away. What happened?
Well, seems like the world ended out there, doesn't it?
Everyone is fine. It's just that you and the cabin are now far away from them. Don't worry. You'll be safe here. This is good. Everyone is happy. You'll be happy.
Ah, I see. The world is saved, but we are trapped in the nothing void. I'm kind of hoping I get a better ending for saving the world.
This isn't an ending. In fact, now that the princess has been slain, endings are a thing of the past. No. This is the beginning.
The world
of
is saved
eternity.
from you. It
You're the
kind of
one.
has that vibe, doesn't it? Kind of does. It has that vibe.
This is what's best for everyone. Trust me. Time passes. You can't be sure if it's days or months or years or even decades. It's all a wonderful, boring blur. You've never been happier.
I'm not sure if I agree with that.
Hey, we're not just going to stay here forever, right?
Hell no. Do you have any idea how to get us the heck out of
I do.
here?
But you're probably not going to like it. The blade. We can use the blade to get out of this. I can hear everything you say, little voice. There's only one thing it would want you to use that blade on, and I'm afraid that thing is you, dear hero. He's right. It's the only way out. Do you hear that? It wants to take this happiness away from you. It wants this wonderful place to end.
Yeah, this game is so unapologetic in its, like, very quick, get-to-the-point examinations of horror.
Do you not? There's more for us to do, and the only way for us to do it is to take that blade and use it. Don't you dare.
Wouldn't that kill us, you
How
know?
astute. You are absolutely correct. Using the blade to kill yourself would kill you, and you shouldn't do it. In a sense, we die, but looking at things from another angle, are we even really alive anymore? This place, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It's just the same thing, constantly, forever. I know this is out there, but trust me, I know using the blade will work.
Death Tale says, the main reason I don't really like horror movies or games is their over-reliance on scares. I hate to be scared, I love to be horrified. I think terror is a different thing from scared. Like, unsettled, terrified, horrified are interesting in ways that scared can be interesting, but it can also be handled very much like many of these things can be poorly handled. There's a lot of cheap ways that people misuse scared.
That little
as a
voice
feeling.
didn't want you to slay the princess. It didn't want you to be happy.
Yeah, you'd better be right about this. I'll be pretty upset if we die.
If we die, you can yell at me all you want. I made this happy little place for you, Is this not a good enough reward for saving the world? An eternity of bliss? You ingrate?
Oh, I'm an
Fine.
ingrate for not wanting
Whatever.
to live.
For the first time since
in
time
the
stopped
void
meaning
forever.
anything, you throw open the door to the basement and walk down the stairs. The princess's body is dust and bones, though the blade you used to slay her is still as pristine as the day you first held it. You pick up the blade, you stab yourself, and you die. The end. Nice knowing you.
Chapter 2. The Spectre.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Oh, you bastard, you're in for it now. I'm onto your tricks.
My tricks? What on earth are you talking about? We've just met for the first time.
Ah.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. That's fine. It wasn't very hard to kill her last time. We'll just do it again.
Voice of the
Well,
cold.
For whatever reason you're going to insist that this has happened before, at least your heart's in the right place. Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version.
Voice of the cold is interesting.
If you're back here, I'm assuming you died, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me. Oh, we listened to you
Kinda.
plenty. We slew the princess just like you asked us to, and then you locked us away in an empty void for eternity. So we slew ourselves too. Well, if you killed yourself, then you weren't listening to me, because I would never want you to do that. Believe it or not, I care about you. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. Yes, but in this purely had you failed, it doesn't matter because we didn't fail to slay her. And if she's really back, which I doubt, it'll be just as easy to do it again. But after that nasty trick you pulled on us, maybe she's not the only one around here in need of slaying. Just stay focused, will you? A warning. She will lie, she will cheat, she won't be a problem.
Okay.
The interior of the cabin
Oh,
is cold,
yeah.
a soft odour of dirt permeating the air. Cobwebs flutter in the corners. You can hear wind whistling outside, banging the shutters against the windows. The only furniture of note is an elegant antique table with a pristine blade perched on the edge. The blade is your implement. It feels like no one's been here for a long, long time. Like I've been saying, she's dead. We killed her already. That's because there isn't a mirror. There's definitely There isn't. Who cares? You walk up. It's really... You reach forward and rub your hat, but it was there, and now it's gone.
Okay, again we try and touch
Let's
the
not
mirror.
spend
Again,
much
it's
longer
not there.
worrying over it.
Okay.
You take the blade from... The door to the basement groans open, revealing an old banister and a creaky wooden stairwell. Everything is coated in a thick
I'm gonna try
layer of
just
dust.
directly killing
You
her
can
again.
feel
We
it
just we
settle
kill her,
into
we
your
kill her, we kill her,
lungs
we
as
see
you
where that
breathe
gets
in
us.
the stale air. The very building itself feels dead. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. The room below is silent. Nobody's here. As much as I appreciate the optimism, you shouldn't be so sure. I guess we'll just have to go down and see. As you descend
Oh,
the
we already
final
killed her.
step,
That's fine
the
then.
form of the princess comes into view. A skeletal body lying in a heap on the floor, its wrist still bound to the wall by a thick chain. Oh, it's just like I told you. Before you have a chance to finish your thought, the top of a head appears from underneath the floor.
Here she is.
Two deep-set eyes stare up at you, followed by a mischievous skeletal grin. And finally, the rest of the body floats up to join the head. Wait, this isn't right. What's going on here? Oh. Wow. How absolutely terrifying. What's a ghost supposed to do to us?
Oh, it's you. Hiya, Keller. I was hoping to see you again. I have some issues with how our last meeting went.
I imagine you probably do.
The princess drifts across the room into your orbit, gently running her fingers across your shoulders and down your neck as she circles you. Her touch is cold and ethereal, formless yet real enough that her icy fingertips send shivers dancing across your skin.
Sorry, that was me eating some Pringles on stream. Apologies for the
body.
eating noises.
She's right there. That means we could kill her again, if we wanted to.
Fuck it,
Without
we
a
kill her
moment's
again.
Hesitation, you lash out.
We just
with
do
your
it. We kill her
blade.
again. I decided that's what this playthrough is. We just
It's
kill
like
her.
you're slashing at air. No matter how many times you stab at her, no matter how many angles you strike from, all you manage to do is interrupt her form.
Stab, stab,
The
stab.
skin
That's
of
this
your
playthrough.
hand
Stab, stab,
prickling
stab.
with cold as it passes through, unable to find anything solid.
You're adorable when you're confused.
Hey.
But I didn't say you could touch me.
Oh. Okay.
Why are you even here? Just making sure you finish the job, or what?
If I knew I'd have to talk to you again, I wouldn't have slain you. I died too, and I'm not floating around like you are. What happened? Why am I different? Why are you different?
You don't look dead, Killer.
The princess grabs your wrist, a sudden shock of cold flowing all the way up your arm, her eyes still fixed on yours as you try to squirm out of her grip.
And you don't feel dead either.
She lets go,
This is
pulls away.
curious.
Your fingertips tingle painfully as the chill subsides.
I'm less interested in why you are, or how you are, and a lot more interested in what you are. I've tried to leave on my own. Before you came back to me, I explored every inch of this place, even the spaces between the walls. But I never found a way out. I always wound up right back here. I just want to go home.
I mean,
so
we have had
bored
conversations
when I'm
about
here.
needing a vessel to inhabit.
But you can come and go as you please, can't you? So, let me hitch a ride. After all, you owe me.
I do kind of owe you.
Absolutely not. Is she asking if she can possess us? She is. And I hope I don't need to explain why you can't let that happen.
Death
It would be
tells.
catastrophic if she managed to escape this place. And if you let her in, there is very little anyone could do to stop
Death
her.
Tell says the spaces between the walls sounds mysterious, alright, but wouldn't that just be rooms? No, the cavity, like, interior wall cavities. The spaces between the walls generally are like 2 layers and like a gap in the middle. It maybe has insulation, maybe it's an empty cavity. Like, there is spaces between the walls in your home, probably.
Would she be able to see us if we went along with it? Now, isn't that an interesting thought? We could finally bring her face to face with him. I wonder what she would have to say to the one who wants her dead so badly. You won't like how things play out if you go down this path.
What if I say no?
Then I won't hitch a ride.
Okay. You won't or can't if I say no.
I'm sure you'd like to know. It's a shame I won't tell you. But it'll be easier for both of us if you just let me in. And doesn't it sound nice?
Maybe for her, but it's crowded enough in here as is.
You won't have to feel guilty anymore. If you even do feel guilt.
Oh.
It could be the best way to trap her for good. Doesn't seem like it would be very easy to end the world from inside someone else's body.
Or let her in and then kill
That
ourselves
is a
and
very
kill her
dangerous
against.
train of thought.
Because right now, we can't kill her because she doesn't have a body. But if she's in our body, we could kill our body and that might kill her.
If I'm able to. But for all we know, that's not how it works. Maybe I'll wind up stuck with you for a long, 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 long time.
Do you hear the way she said that? She knows more than she's letting on.
Do I still get to be in control?
Sure, why not?
That doesn't sound very reassuring. I can't believe you're even entertaining her right now. I mean, just look at her. Do you think she has good intentions for her murderer's body? Of course she doesn't.
And what? You just believed that? You killed me without giving it any thought? That's cold.
That's rich coming from her. She's right, though, but that's neither here nor there. What's done is done. What we do from this point forward is all that matters.
After I killed you, this cabin, I want to say it teleported? It wasn't in the woods anymore. I'm stopped meaning anything and I had to kill myself to escape.
You poor thing. That must...
You know, after everything we've been through, it's nice to see someone finally sympathising with us. She doesn't mean it.
It serves you right.
I
Yeah.
was pretty scared too. When you stood there not saying a word with a knife clenched in your fist. But now you know how bad it hurts to get stabbed in the chest.
It sounds like you got exactly what you were owed.
I mean, yeah. Okay, chap. Do we let her possess us? Do we leave her in the basement and walk away? Or do we kill her? 1, 2, or 3. Let her possess us, walk away, kill her. Okay, chat seems very into letting her possess us. Okay.
The princess swims through the air in front of you, pausing for a brief moment as her dark-rimmed eyes stare deeply into yours. There's a hunger in her gaze.
I had an annoying
It's
hair
for
I
the
had to
body,
remove,
killer.
just a single little scratchy hair. It's for the
What are you
body
doing?
killer.
Don't just let her in. How many times do I have to tell you?
See you soon.
She rushes forward and then she's gone. A sharp chill spreads across your body. It starts in your chest, a freezing numbness flowing out from your heart, all the way down your limbs, your mind growing cloudy and confused as it settles over your very soul. I'm not sure I like this. Can we get a do-over?
Ah, we've done it now. We're in.
I'm afraid it's too late to stop now. The numbness gives way to a stabbing pain, your muscles twitching and convulsing violently, each involuntary movement causing more waves of agony to ripple across your body. You collapse to the floor, and everything goes dark.
Get up. You've still got a job to do.
Your eyes flick back open as you get your bearings, your vision swimming as...
So this is what it's like to be you, huh? Disembodied voice narrating your every move?
So, it doesn't work like that for you? Clearly it doesn't, or she wouldn't have commented on it.
All these shards of broken glass on the floor? Are they also supposed to be you?
Hey, I'm not a shard of broken glass, I'm...
Yeah? Go on. Finish the thought. What are you?
Who cares what we are? We exist. That's all that matters.
Do you have to deal with this annoying bickering all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, the way that she refers to the other entities in your head as shards of broken glass really does sound like she's talking about them in the sense of, like, she views these as, like, you were a person and bits of you shattered into separate things. Bits of you broke off and became their own things. Yeah. Deathtail says this game made a really great example of what dissociating feels like. Tengu Gemini, yeah, this game is fascinating, right?
No, it matters. What we are matters. If I'm a shard of broken glass, then that raises some questions about certain other voices.
As Skrangle says, yeah, you keep doing it by going through this repeatedly. Yes, it is a good point that, like, outside of really the narrator, like, the unnamed self of the narrator, all of the other voices come about as a result of you make a choice to do a thing, it has kind of horrifying consequences, and a new voice starts chatting in your head as a result. Yeah.
I'm clearly the same thing you are.
Hopefully they'll all go away once we leave this place. I don't know how you can tolerate all of this noise.
Again, there is something to be said for, like, there is definitely some similarities being drawn on here to stuff like the DID, Dissociative Identity Disorder, in that trauma causes alternative identities to form related to managing aspects of the self related to the event. And there is definitely, like, I'm not going to say it's one-to-one to any degree, but, like, there is definitely some playing in the same space, as it were. Trekkie, there is definitely a degree of branching going on here. The question of whether it's linear or branched is like asking whether the Stanley Parable is linear or branched. It's a lot of branches or a lot of linear branches.
No, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about him. You don't need to know what I am. You just need to know that I'm different from you. More important.
Is that so, narrator?
So you're the one who pulled the strings and made me dead. I can tell you don't belong here. You're barely even there. Like the shape of something left behind. You're more of a memory than a person.
That's rude.
You're kind of like me, actually.
I'm just going to ignore her. You push yourself off the ground. The princess is nowhere to be seen. Obviously she's nowhere to be seen.
Because I'm in here with all of you. Everybody knows that.
I'm setting the stage. The room is empty because you made a spiteful, idiotic, and all-round foolish decision.
Oh, shut up. Stop trying to manipulate everyone. Or don't, actually. It doesn't really matter. Because you won't be around to do this for much longer.
This is infuriating. Just whatever you do, you can't leave this place. It's not too late to fix this. Probably.
Okay.
Then don't think. Just move.
One way or another, this is all going to end.
I guess we'll just have to see what happens when we leave. But if I'm stuck in here, I'll be making some renovations. It's too crowded.
Okay. So, do we leave the basement, or do we slay the princess? Which I think in this case would mean we kill ourselves with her inside. What do we do, chat? Slay the princess or leave the basement? Chrissy says 2, McDonald's. I'll give chat a second. Okay, 2. 1, 2, 2. Okay, not a unified, decision. Death Tales. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't sold on it. I know I said this was gonna be the murder plan, but I'm open to what chat's into. You know what? Chat seems to be leaning towards 2. We leave. We can always slay her next time.
Weary with the weight of the princess's
Look,
spectral
I'm going to
form,
explore all of these on this
clumsy with the
playthrough,
cold that still pervades
so
them,
I don't mind which we do
stumbled towards
when.
the stairs.
I'm just trying to get home. You don't have to act like it's the end of the world.
Just trying to get home.
But that's exactly what you leaving this place is going to be.
You don't know that.
I do.
Wait, if she has a home to go back to, doesn't that mean that her leaving won't end the world?
It doesn't mean that at all. It could mean that wherever her home is, it's outside of the world.
Yeah, but it has to be somewhere, doesn't it?
I suppose it's all a matter of perspective. Where does the world end and something else begin? Does the destruction of one open a door to another? Or is it the same world reborn? Against the backdrop of the inane conjecture of meaningless little voices, your body continues its ascent up the stairs, staggering through the open door. For how much you hate her, you aren't doing a whole lot to stop us from leaving this place.
It's because he can't stop me. Why do you think he sent you here?
I hate to admit it, but she's not wrong. It's just the weight of it all. It's too much for me to do anything other than describe and dictate.
I mean, you were able to control before,
And wine.
though.
This body wasn't made to hold you and the princess. If you want to renege on your cataclysmically terrible decision a minute ago, well, you're the only one that can make that happen. You continue slowly
no
to the
choice
door,
now, I gotta
your
trudge
feet
forward.
like lead dragging across the floorboards, growing heavier with each step.
Finally! Finally!
You lift your shaking hand and rest it on the door handle, but you pause before you open it, exhaustion sapping what's left of your will. Was exhaustion really the best you could muster up? It's over. There's no use stalling.
I like,
Let's see what happens next.
I forget what it's called, but the one that's, like, the romantic, that sounds a little Matt Berry, that's very like, yes, we will be the dashing knight, and we will save her, and we'll do all the wonderful things. The smitten, that's it.
Shit. But exhaustion wasn't enough, was it? The handle clicks as you twist it, and then the door groans open. Collapse to the ground, you and the princess, free from the confines of the cabin. As you exhale from the effort, you look up and see... yes?
Nothing. He's gone. And so is everything else.
So we did slay him after all. He had it coming, I suppose. But what about us? Are we just stuck here in nowhere forever? Did taking her out of the cabin really end the world? We're still here. Yeah, but that thing you said earlier, are we not part of the world anymore? Are we in some world that exists after the world ends, or on top of the other world but not in it, or have we never been part of the world?
Alright. Let's see if I'm stuck with you forever.
You feel a lightness in your chest as a pair of sunken eyes emerge from your body and stare up at you.
Guessing not. All's well that ends well, right? You lived up to your end of the bargain, so I'll live up to mine. Thanks.
Okay.
Don't mention it.
I think this is where I'm meant to be.
Oh, and the hand's got her. You don't get the chance to respond, nor will you ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's the...
Oh, Thimber, that's not news. The Bob's Burger actor who got arrested over January 6th stuff was fucking ages ago. He played, I forget what the guy's name. Jimmy Pesto, the owner of the asshole owner of the restaurant across the street from Bob. Like, there was a whole bunch of memes about it, like, a year ago, of people going, Jimmy Pesto got arrested for January 6th. Yeah, that sounds about right for Jimmy Pesto. And he got arrested. Okay, okay, he was sentenced today. Cool. Okay, yeah, he got arrested. I was like, yeah, no, that was a fucking while ago. Okay, yeah, he got sentenced. He got sentenced to a year in prison. Fucking hell yeah! Put look. I don't know that human being's actual name. Put Jimmy Pesto behind bars. Lock Jimmy Pesto up. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. Just trust me. We've been here before, and you always get scared.
But it feels so bad. Like, looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything.
Yeah, a year's not. You know, a year could be more than a year, but I'll take a year in prison for someone face some fucking consequences. You know, I say as someone that has complicated feelings about prison as an institution generally, but for now I'm going to take it. Jimmy Pesto, lock him up. See you on the other side. It's going to be okay.
Okay. If you say so. We'll trust you. Whatever makes you happy.
Whatever makes you happy. That's familiar. Okay. They're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what's in it. Yeah, I would have been very open to Bob's Burgers literally having it be canon that Jimmy Pesto got arrested for January 6th. Okay, we're in the long quiet once again. Oh yeah, I should talk about that for anyone who didn't see it. Thimba says, in gaming news, I'm kind of shocked by a story you shared about the dude who leaked and broke NDAs for Veilguard. Yeah, so here's the short version, as I understand it, because I've been following this since yesterday. A bunch of videos started leaking, or a couple of videos leaked yesterday of Dragon Age Veilguard, shared by this, like, freshly created Twitter account. Nothing that spoilery in them, but it was created by someone who was very clearly, like, trying to drum up some right-wing hate mobbery around Veilguard, being like, oh, look at it, the voice acting's really stilted, and it's doing woke shit, game's terrible. And, like, the tweet was originally going like, oh, I've got a friend who's a reviewer, and he sent me the footage and I shared it. But the thing about Dragon Age Veilguard, is it's a game where you have a custom creator character. And without mentioning too much, one of the party members who was in this footage is collected quite a deep way into the game. So, like, someone's been playing a playthrough with this character, and people were like, okay, if this really did come from a review copy, let's keep an eye out when reviews drop on Monday, for if anyone's, like, player character looks like the one in this video. Because if we see a video review or a screenshot in a review that looks like that version of the player character, that's probably who fucking broke NDA and leaked it, right? Surely they wouldn't be stupid enough to use their player character in footage they broke NDA by, you know, at best, giving to a friend who uploaded it to right-wing shitster, and at worst, just made a sock puppet account so he could post the video himself. It took about 2 hours from review embargo for Veilguard lifting today for people to find the review and go, this you, buddy, and be able to point at a video review that matched the version of Rook in the leaked videos. So people were able to go, so you just decided to leak videos breaking NDA, breaking embargo to try and whip up right-wing hate against the game, did you? And then more and more stuff has unfolded, and it's become very obvious that this man did just create a sock puppet account to deliberately break NDA himself to try and rip up right-wing hate. So yeah, a person leaked footage of Veilguard and then was stupid enough to have the same player character appear in videos and screenshots in his review, so people could go, okay, so it was you that leaked footage, huh, then? Yeah, it's pretty funny. Mr. L says, for another streamer I follow, all of that crap has just pushed him further to adopting Blue Sky full time. I've said this a couple of times on Twitter, and I'll say it again here now. If you currently follow me on Twitter, and you want to keep following me in a Twitter-esque social media, I would recommend going and following me on Blue Sky. I'm Laura K. Buzz over there. Because I will probably, in the pretty near future, be ditching Twitter, at least for the foreseeable future, and Blue Sky will be the primary place I'm posting. I've got cool, exciting shit coming up, but also shit where I just don't want to deal with Twitter when that stuff comes up, and Blue Sky's just a infinitely chiller place for me to be excited about some stuff I got coming up. There's at least a few things coming up in the near future that I'm gonna like drop the information on Twitter and then just fucking bail and not look at Twitter for several months. So look forward to that. I mean, the other way you can follow all the work stuff I'm doing is, hey, as little as $1 a month on Patreon, you'll get updates every time I upload a new thing, and all sorts of updates over there. Self-promo. Or you could go to laurakbuzz.com or access-ability.uk and sign up to get, like, email notifications whenever I upload stuff. That's another way you can keep up with what I'm doing. Promo. Tee-hee. Anyway, I'm gonna stop trying to promote myself, and we'll come
Flickering
be
lights
here.
and empty cityscapes become pockets of vitality and movement. I am more than I was before. Whenever you are ready, I will wipe your slate clean once again.
Are you the same being as you were before? How much have you changed?
Is a child the same as an infant? I am an unbroken pattern, but every vessel gives fresh perspectives and carves new avenues of expression. I am different, but I am the same.
There we go. Drop some bits there. Everything you say feels like a riddle. Can you give me a single straight answer?
I'm sorry. Words are difficult for me. They never fully weave what I wish to say. If you do not like my answers, then you need not ask me questions. The vessels you choose to bring me carry far more meaning than anything words could say in the spaces between.
What does it feel to change like this?
Eyes close in reflection. Perspectives meld together, and the breadth of my experience stretches to new corners. There are contradictions, conflicts in my nature, and there are familiarities that bind everything together.
Tara, I agree that riddles
It
are
feels
divine.
correct. This is what I need to be.
As someone who just played a
This
riddle
is the only
paladin,
path forward.
I agree that riddles are divine. When this is all done, do you know what you want to do?
With every gift you bring me, I excavate the alleys of what I am meant to be, and every exploration yields new and complicated truths. What I will be is different than what I am. What I am is different from what I was. I cannot tell you what desires I will hold when I have changed, but in this moment, all I want is to know myself and to know you.
You know that at the end of this, once you're finished, I'm going to kill you, right?
There is still much to be seen. Neither of us know the depths of our being. Perhaps at the end of this, I will be the one to kill you. Or perhaps we will leave this place together and find new horizons to discover.
I think it's worth knowing that every time we bring another part of her to herself and she changes, in order to do that, we have to metaphorically, we have to find different parts of ourselves. Like, in order to find the version of her that was completely, oh, I'll do anything you want, I just want to please you, I love you. I don't know, don't have wants of my own, I just want you to be happy. We had to, like, unquestioningly, like, our entire point is get her out, get her out, get her out. In order to find the version of her that was willing to hijack a way out, we had to coldly murder, but then show compassion and bring her with us. We had to find complexities and different versions of ourselves, and to find logic that would allow us to rationalize doing other things. And I think there is something to be said for the idea that in putting the contradictory but consistent, beautiful mess of versions of herself together, we have to do the same with ourselves a bit. Tengu Gemini, I have. I'm being deliberately, like, I've played through, I did some playing of this before the Pristine Cut. I've not played the Pristine Cut. Isn't her Chapter 2 self always what your new inner voice is so far? Interesting. Interesting. Interesting observation. Yeah, because we yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the smitten... Yeah.
Those paths lead to worlds you've already seen, and to perspectives I have already made my own. They are useless to us now, inaccessible. The only paths of value are those that are yet untread.
You've been kinder to me than anyone else I've met. Thank you.
Why wouldn't I be kind to you? You are the only thing I know that isn't me.
And you're basically the only thing I know that isn't me or the voice in my own head. The new voice is the perspective you give to the thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it? Double Exposure! Yes, Life is Strange Double Exposure episodes 1 through 5 are all out tomorrow. And I'm probably going to avoid playing them until I stream them on like 3 through 5 on Wednesday in one big mega stream. I've not looked at reviews too much. I know that they are all fucking over the place in terms of scores. People love or hate it. I'm very curious. I don't know how it ends. I'm very curious where it's going. But I can say, when the full game releases tomorrow, as long as you have, like, you've checked for updates and you have the most up-to-date version, you should see my name in the credits of Life is Strange tomorrow. They're finally there. My name appears, I believe it's in the special thanks section. It doesn't say accessibility consultant, which is, I'll be honest, a little bit of a shame. But you should be able to see me and the other accessibility consultants in the special thanks section. So my name will now be in the credits on that game. Yes. What do you want me to bring you next time? Interesting question.
Gifts aren't what someone tells you to bring them. My joy is in seeing what you choose. There are no wrong answers, and every perspective illuminates my shadows and shares new secrets.
Do you have any thoughts on this vessel?
This one is vaporous. She is a dream of a life she could never have, but that longing has given her so much capacity for kindness. She will make for a yearning heart. Do not mourn her. She will finally be able to hold what she never knew.
I'll say this about that Metacritic score for Double Exposure. Having not played the rest of it, it's not that far off of the series averages. Like, the series has always been somewhere in the 70 to 80 range. Like, at its highs, its Metacritic's been like a 78 at it. Its previous, like, low was like a 74, and this is a 72. It's not out of the range of what Life is Strange tends to get. It's not a series for everyone, and it's always reviewed a little wonky.
My preference is for you to show me what you would like me to see. I cannot know the ways I wish to grow, for I have yet to feel them. It is you who guides me down the thin trail of perspective and memory.
I don't want to hurt you, but the more times I go back, the worse I fear things will be.
The vessels are shaped by memories of
Okay,
you,
it's 75
but
on
their
other systems,
impulses are drawn to
72
the
average
edge
on
of the long
PlayStation.
quiet.
Yeah.
To them, you are a gate to something more, and any hurt you've caused them is understood as a fair price for freedom. But they are only thoughts and perspectives. They are not me. The wounds they've suffered carve texture around my heart. Without them, I would be as I was before. I would be alone and without sensation. I could not feel the joy of having you by my side, for I would not know your absence.
How many more vessels do I need to bring you?
If I am to be an ocean, you have nurtured me into a pond. My waters are shallow and murky, and you will have your rest in due time.
Okay. I'm not going to attack the entity. Unless that's what you want, chat. Do I destroy my body? Do I say I'm ready to go back? Do I attack the entity? I've got options, I suppose. My instinct is to go back, but I'll give chat a chance to have other opinions. Go back, get more princesses. I wish to go back. Okay, looks like we're
I
going
will long for your return,
back.
but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Now, I think this is probably where I'm going to leave this for today. This game is fascinating. If today has intrigued you, there is so much more of this game to be seen. There is so much more of this game to be seen. And I wanted to give you just enough of this game to get its hooks in you, and to get you intrigued, because I think this game is fantastic. And if you have the option, I think it is worth playing. And I will repeat what the developers have said and someone brought up earlier in chat. Hey, if your only options remaining are to watch someone like play through the rest of it or pirate it, they fully encourage you to pirate it so that you can play it through yourself. If the alternative is can't afford to play it, so I'll just watch other people play it. They want you to experience this thing, and they're open to whatever that means for you. But if you have the means, I think this game is really worth picking up and trying and porting. I think it's a really interesting game. But yes, I'm going to leave it here. I will be back on Wednesday with a long fucking stream. I am a very long stream. I am probably going to try and stream episodes 3, 4, and 5 of Life is Strange Double Exposure on Wednesday in one big stream. Episodes 1 and 2 are up on Twitch. You can go find those now up on Twitch. Or on YouTube, you can find the VODs. But I'm going to try and do episodes 3, 4, and 5 on Thursday. On Wednesday. You know, if needed, we maybe finish them on Thursday, but like, I want to do 3, 4, and 5 on a big Wednesday stream. Start a bit earlier than usual, run pretty late, because Friday, maybe Thursday a little bit, but Thursday/Friday, end of this week, I'm going to start streaming Dragon Age. And yeah, this week is going to be a week of... It's going to be some interesting streams this week. I hope people tune in for them. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed. I'm going to go sort some bits I need to do